I know. I don't even think the Carolina Panthers. I don't even. It's hard for me to even see them making a move right now.
I'm about to say I wouldn't be concerned with adding another player to this roster at the moment. I would be more concerned with adding capital because there's nowhere you're gonna look to because you're not gonna go get Davante Adams. Just doesn't make sense. You're not gonna go get DeAndre Hopkins. It also doesn't make sense.
Why? Why did neither one of those names make sense? I think both of those players are unhappy with their current situation.
Yeah, but they're unhappy. Davante Adams is unhappy with his current situation because they're losing. So why the fuck would he want to go to Carolina?
It doesn't matter where you. It doesn't matter where you want to go.
It does when you're Davante Adams.
It does not matter where you. It does not matter where you want to go.
Well, one, and y'all don't have the capital to go get him. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna give them to go get Davante?
Offer whatever draft capital we have remaining in one of them names that we just mentioned.
So you're gonna waste the rest of your draft capital trying to go get Davante Adams
to go get a weapon for Bryce? Yes. Because then at that point it just becomes of what do you value more?
Well, I guess that also goes into something deeper because that also depends on how long Davante Adams is going to want to stay in Carolina. And I think if you can't secure him for at least 2 to 3 years, then, I mean, that's kind of pointless because he's not coming in to save the season right now.
No.
So.
And it would just be a wasted season of his prime because he's only getting older. I mean, he's 31, 32 years old.
Yeah, but I just looked it up. He just signed a 5-year deal last year. So, I mean, unfortunately, no matter how upset and mad you get, you're not going nowhere. If I'm the Carolina Panthers and I do feel as though I want to make a move for Davante Adams, yeah, unfortunately, you got caught up in the debacle with Las Vegas, with Gruden and all of that shit. Cool, we understand. But, nigga, you now officially are hostage.
Yeah, I mean.
And you got to deal with that. I mean, it wouldn't be ideal, but he wouldn't be going nowhere for 4 years.
Like I said, it would be great, if we could assure that he's locked up for that amount of time. But, I mean.
It just doesn't really make sense for either party involved. And DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, again, that's another receiver. But that one doesn't really make sense because of the decline that we've seen in DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, one of Carolina's problems with their receivers right now is separation.
I don't like that. I don't like that narrative.
He hasn't played well.
I don't like that narrative. I don't like that.
He hasn't played well this year.
Because that can be a multitude of problems. For one, his quarterback ain't shit. We can start at the top. His quarterback ain't shit. His quarterback has been dealing with injuries all throughout the season already. We don't know schematically what they're drawing up for him to do. We don't know if they're putting him in a position to be successful. Now, I'm not saying should he come to Carolina, that instantly changes because we've seen how subpar this offense has looked throughout the season. But I don't like that narrative about DeAndre Hopkins.
I think he's more affordable. I think it's more realistic. He's more affordable, but he also already stated that he doesn't want to play with a rookie quarterback. So I don't really see him wanting to go.
It don't matter.
I feel like, players like that, I do believe they do have some sort of say in where they go.
If they don't got that no trade clause,
their teams aren't. You're not just going to start shipping players of that caliber to teams who aren't contending for a championship at this stage in their career.
I would say that makes a lot more sense in the Davante Adams situation because he completely controlled where he wanted to go as far as Las Vegas. He wanted to come back and play with, who was it, Derek Carr? Yeah, He completely controlled that situation, and the respect he had in Green Bay, they had no other choice but to respect his decision in doing that. And I think he wanted to go to Las Vegas, and they made that happen. So I would say he has more so of a say-so on where he wants to go versus DeAndre Hopkins. I mean,
why do y'all think these niggas have a choice in where they go? Like, I don't know why. I don't know where y'all are getting that idea from.
Because we've seen. I think that you might be thinking of it in a standpoint of how you would handle the situation, as far as like if you're a team and you have one of those receivers and you want to get rid of them, it's mutually agreed on. But as an owner, you can let your nuts hang and say, I mean, nigga, I'll trade you where the fuck I want to. Which realistically, they can't.
Like, I mean, no, we're acting like this isn't the NFL.
I mean, that builds like a poor. Then you get a bad rep around the league.
So what?
Nobody's gonna want to come.
But I'm just saying,
so what?
Nobody's gonna want to sign.
It hasn't really happened in the past, especially not with those two receivers. The Green Bay Packers didn't say, "I'm gonna trade you where the fuck I want to." they respected his decision and wanting to go to Las Vegas, and they made that happen. And I think
but
that was the same way with DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm saying, like, as much as it can happen, the owners have the complete control of the situation and the ability to make it happen. It's just not something that we've seen.
I mean,
we
really have seen it, though. If a player doesn't want to play for you, he's not going to play for you. A la Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with anything that you guys are saying right now.
Deshaun Watson, did he not bully his way out of Houston?
Yeah, but that was a completely different situation.
So what about Davante Adams?
And Deshaun Watson, I mean, he did bully his way out of Houston, but that wasn't because they weren't winning. That was for more than one reason. He didn't fuck with the owner. He didn't fuck with Bill O'Brien. It was multiple reasons why
but he still
why Deshaun Watson left.
I think you're missing the point of, in those situations, the players has had more control, even though the owners can obviously put their foot down and say, we can send you anywhere. In those situations, the players has had more control thus far. And I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah,
I don't agree. Yeah, and I totally don't agree with y'all. Because I just feel like, okay, cool. Well, we can look at 1, 2, maybe 3 instances and where a nigga had a choice in where they went. But I'm sure there's countless in which a nigga has been unhappy with where they ended up. And the general manager and owner simply didn't give a fuck. Like Davante Adams, okay, cool. He got out of Green Bay. Now all of a sudden he wants to leave Vegas because they're not winning. What the fuck do I owe you if I'm Vegas? We just signed you to this lucrative ass deal last year. Now all of a sudden you're doing all this bitching, moaning, and complaining. Yeah. And you think that you have any leverage to tell us if a team comes and offers us hypothetically a 2025 first round pick and maybe a second or a third next year? You think that we're not going to move you for that?
No, I'm saying
you're outright. I mean, you're delusional as hell.
Yeah, I'm saying that is true. Like, they can take that stance, but what we're saying is it hasn't happened in those situations regarding the players that we're talking about. Like, that just hasn't happened with a Davante Adams.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that DeAndre Hopkins came out and said that he wanted to play for fucking Pat Mahomes or somebody last offseason, did he not?
I don't think
this past offseason.
He said that about a few. He said there was a few teams that he wanted to play for, but he also said, I don't want to play with a rookie quarterback, and he's not playing with the fucking rookie.
And I don't.
So he wanted to fucking go play with Ryan Tannehill?
I mean, Ryan Tannehill ain't a rookie.
But did he want to go play with
Ryan
Tannehill?
His only statement was, I don't want to play with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm done with playing with rookies.
I don't know if he had a specific list of teams where he was like, I only want to go to these teams, and that's that. He did put out a couple of quarterbacks that he wanted to play with, and Ryan Tannehill might have not been on that list, but the Cardinals didn't ship him to, per se, a rookie quarterback, or I don't think they shipped him to a quarterback that he absolutely didn't want to play with.
I don't think it. I mean,
I don't think he was a free agent though. He didn't get traded. He got to pick his destination. Was he not?
I don't know. I mean, that may be correct.
Because I do believe he had. Because the Cardinals eventually released him.
Yeah,
that's what happened. The Cardinals
right, and then the Carolina Panthers worked in the sweepstakes to get him.
Well, what about
without a fucking quarterback design to start that season? That was a conversation.
Was this before what time frame was this in?
This was before we got Bryce Young. But we had no quarterback. We had fucking PJ Walker on the roster.
But I'm saying there could be a chance that we knew at that point in time that we needed to trade up for a quarterback. Because, I mean, we even had the conversation that you have to go get another quarterback. But I think – oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I just think in those situations, those two players in particular get traded to contenders. I don't think they get traded to teams that are trying to figure out their identity. Those are two players either at the tail end of their prime or like right in that little sweet spot of their prime for Davante Adams, where they're not interested in being a part of any rebuild. So I promise you, even if you do trade for him, you don't have a happy player coming in, nor a player that's going to be productive for the locker room or good for your rookie quarterback's mental or just really anything, because they're going to bitch and moan until they get their way out the door there. Because it's not a situation that they desire to be in. At this point, both of them have gotten paid multiple times. They've got their money. Now they're chasing legacy. They're trying to chase rings. They're trying to chase championships.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily disregarding what you're saying about the owners being like, I can trade you to wherever I want. I think that it's just the players that we're talking about, those caliber players, they have more of a say-so than a Jerry Jeudy or a Marquise Brown or something like that, that the players we were in conversation about acquiring, now those players, I don't think they necessarily have a say-so.
No, and
like,
I
don't think I don't think any of these niggas have a say-so.
I think a Jerry Jeudy is
like y'all
completely
saying,
gettable. That's a much more realistic target than a Davante Adams.
Why?
Because
we keep talking about a contending
Jerry Jeudy
team
has
and we keep talking about all of this other shit. But like, if I don't want to take that cap hit, and I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, or I'm the Dallas Cowboys, or I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't want to take that cap hit, I'm not giving you shit for him. But if he wants to, so then I have to sit back as a general manager and say, okay, cool. So do I want to sit here and deal with the unhappy player that's going to bitch, moan, and complain, or do I want to just dispose of him to whatever team will take him in the NFL? Doesn't have to be a contender, can be, can't be, but I can still get some value for him, and I don't have to deal with his contract if we're talking about Davante Adams. And then to like transparently, I don't know what contending team has any use for DeAndre Hopkins based on what we've seen this season.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it still all goes back to the point where, as a general manager, like, yes, it's perfectly fine for you to think like that, which you would think that most of them would think like that, but it just hasn't happened. It's in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why y'all keep saying that.
I mean,
I don't understand why y'all like this nigga DeAndre got pissed in Arizona. They chose not to re-sign him if he was a free agent, whatever the fuck happened with that. But he got pissed out there because Kyler Murray won't hitting on shit. He got unhappy. He didn't return to Arizona. Now, if he was a free agent, that's a conversation because it was just like, okay, cool. So then why in the fuck did he not go get signed by one of these other teams?
I think it was a money aspect too, because I know that he was
asking for
shit.
hella bread.
Yeah, he was asking for bread, so it was like,
okay, so cool. So pause. So if I wouldn't have gave you that shit in the offseason, what the fuck have you done through 7 weeks of the NFL season that's gonna make me assume that contract now? And if you're unhappy and you're on the block, nigga, you don't have a say. I hate to tell you, you don't have a say, nigga. This shit ain't 3, 4, 5 years ago when you were dunking on niggas left and right, you wasn't getting injured, etc. It's not that type time, and we have to pay you $13 million for this season and next.
I feel like we're getting a little too lost in the sauce of the hypothetical nature of this debate. It really boils down to like those two names in particular are just unrealistic trade targets for the Carolina Panthers at this moment because they're just not the structure around the team to house either of them. And I think that's really ultimately what it boils down to.
Okay. I mean, we can agree to disagree because I just simply don't agree with either one of you guys.
I mean, we would want to see those players, obviously.
Everybody would.
Yeah, but this is not a biased conversation. I just don't agree with what y'all were saying foundationally and fundamentally. I don't think these niggas have a choice. Like, this shit is not the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying they don't have a choice, but if you go back and look, like, we named the Davante Adams situation. He obviously had a choice.
Okay, cool. And so now he's unhappy and he's bitching, moaning, and complaining.
Okay.
So, like, okay, so, nigga, so, I mean, if you're unhappy in Vegas, right? So now if I'm sitting back in the GM, I bring DeAndre Hopkins into my office. I say, cool, you're unhappy here. So you have one of two options. Either you go to Charlotte and you play with the rookie quarterback and you thug it out there. You continue to get your money. The contract isn't going to change, whatever. Or you stay in Vegas. I don't see why that conversation wouldn't be happening. Like, these contracts that these niggas have are extremely lucrative. Specifically, Davante Adams. And if we're talking about contenders, I don't really see a contender that's really in the market for a wide receiver one. I mean, we can go through the list if you guys want and talk about the top 5, 6 teams in the NFL, the top 5 or 6 teams that we know will end up in the Super Bowl. But what contending team really needs a wide receiver? So if I'm the GM for the Las Vegas Raiders, you're either going to shut the fuck up and you're going to continue to play with Brian Hoyer and Jimmy Garoppolo, or I'm going to shop you around the whole NFL. Like, you don't have a say in where you go. Same thing with DeAndre. Nigga, you have 320 total yards this year with no touchdowns. You have no say. Oh, and by the way, we were one of the teams that were actually willing to give you a contract upwards of double figures, sitting at 13, upwards of that 10, we were one of the teams that were actually willing to make that shit happen. You haven't been any return on our investment. You officially have no say.
Well, you did just say when Tavian first mentioned it, you said start from the top as he has a bullshit quarterback. So I think that conversation can also look like you haven't done shit, but the way this team looking, we also haven't put you in the best situation to produce because we just went and traded Kevin Byard away. I mean,
so the Tennessee Titans we would acknowledge aren't even a playoff contending team right now, correct?
And so I think that conversation can also go a different way, as in we know we're not going to be on shit. We even talking about trading Derrick Henry. So, nigga, we're going to do right by you. We suck. We don't seem to look to be.
I don't know why y'all niggas think these motherfuckers in the NFL is just doing these niggas favors.
That is conversations that can be had. We suck. We don't see us going anywhere with Malik Willis and Will Levis. We're thinking about trading Derrick Henry. We already got rid of Kevin Byard. So, I mean, we'll do right by you. Where you want to go?
That shit is insane. I just don't think that shit is happening like that. And okay, cool. I'll bring Nuck in my office. Okay, nigga. You ain't done a bitch-ass thing. You ain't scoring no goddamn touchdowns. You don't even have 500 yards on the season. So we got two options for you, nigga. Do you want to continue to play with Malik Willis, Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis, or do you want to go play with Bryce Young? Those are your fucking options. Yeah. And so if I'm on the other end of the table and I'm looking and listening to these names, I mean, that whole rookie quarterback shit is out the window.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is the conversation can go the way you're saying. It can also go the way that I'm fucking saying. Like,
I just think that these GMs and these owners is not giving these niggas the benefit of the doubt like y'all think.
So you think they not going to do right by Derrick Henry when they get ready to trade him?
I don't think Derrick Henry has a fucking thing to say. And then that same...
And they will.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay, cool. No, they're going to trade him to a contender because there are a lot of contenders that need a running back one like Derrick Henry. So the situation is completely different. There's no team that's a contending team that DeAndre Hopkins goes to right now and becomes a wide receiver one.
I'm just saying, certain players, I think that the GMs would do right by.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because
maybe Derrick Henry. Maybe Derrick Henry. Okay, cool.
That's not even a maybe. That's going to happen.
Okay, cool, bro. Davante Adams.
Yes.
Bitch, you have done nothing. You have done nothing. Since you've been a Las Vegas Raider, you've done nothing. You haven't earned my respect. You haven't done shit. Why am I respecting you?
I mean, the Raiders are the ones who switched up the whole setup. Okay. He came to Las Vegas for the purposes of playing with Derek Carr, and then y'all motherfuckers go and let that nigga walk.
Okay,
or
cool.
Trade. What they do? They shipped him? They traded him, or did they? Yeah.
Listen.
Y'all ship him in the offseason. The only reason I even came to this motherfucking city was to play with my boy, and y'all just sent him on his way.
Hey, we apologize.
Send me on my way too.
Hey, don't worry. We apologize,
so
nigga.
Send me on my way to a contender.
Like, nigga, do you see how crazy that shit sounds? If we just shipped that motherfucker and didn't give a fuck about how you felt in that situation, imagine you coming in my office telling me to ship you to a contender because you said so. Are you smoking dick, nigga? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You came here for New York. You came here for Derek Carr. We shipped Derek Carr and didn't blink a fucking eye. We didn't come to you and ask you a bitch ass thing because your voice don't hold no weight in this motherfucker. So imagine you coming in here and telling us that you did X, Y, Z. I mean, so ship me to a contender.
It's got to hold some weight. It's got to hold some weight because right after the game, all I gotta say is I'm unhappy. And niggas like, oh shit, he want to get traded. Oh, he on his way out the door. Because all I gotta do is open my mouth.
You seen that clip of bro?
What
in Cleveland? Yeah, that shit was foul as hell. I ain't gonna lie. You seen that clip of bro in Cleveland? When Hugh Jackson was the coach for Hard Knocks, and that nigga go in Hugh Jackson's office bitching, moaning, and complaining, talking about why he not getting reps, this and that. And then the fucking narrator comes on and says the next day this nigga was fucking traded.
Who was it though?
He was bullshit.
Exactly.
He was bullshit. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm just telling y'all, like, nigga, that shit is applicable for any of these niggas.
He want Davante because Davante don't even gotta walk in the coach's office and say it. I'll say it to the fucking media.
Okay, cool, nigga, and that don't matter, nigga. And you know what I would tell you if you were bro and I was a GM. Okay, cool, just sit right there. Matter of fact, just wait, sit right here, nigga. The next thing I'm doing, I'm calling the fucking Cardinals. I'm calling the Panthers. I'm calling the Bears. I'm calling any bullshit organization I can think of. And then the first nigga that offered me even anything remotely close to a second-round pick for the next upcoming draft, he's fucking gone.
And you know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to say, put the phone on speaker. When you get them niggas on the phone, I'm going to tell them, don't make that deal because, nigga, I will not play for you. I done made my fucking money. Nigga, if you put me on that team,
my hamstring will tighten up so quick.
I will not suit the fuck up whatsoever. Matter of fact, I might not even attend the fucking game.
That's no problem. If our specialists can't confirm that shit, then that's no problem. You just won't be getting your game checks. Because y'all do realize how that shit work, right? Like niggas got to get the okay and niggas got to get the green light from the specialist. Like, yeah, this nigga really is fucked up in order for them to even get their checks. Based on the fact that they saying they injured, and like, this ain't no NBA shit.
So when he go out and start running routes like Chase Claypool,
yeah. And what is it going? What is it going to be for a nigga like me who made Davante Adams money to not play a specialist to fucking dick off on the report? Yeah, nigga, my shit fucked up. I might need to be on IR, nigga.
Fair enough.
And so,
fair enough. I don't know.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor did it.
Yeah.